Welcome to my channel, and today we will talk about Shigaraki Tomura. And one of the greatest strengths in My Hero Academia is the complexity of its villains. So today, let's explore the character Shigaraki Tomura, examining the delicate balance between his role as a victim and as a villain. So get ready for the in-depth look at the tragic and most fascinating rise to villain in the series. And we'll first examine his childhood, All for One's manipulations, and Shigaraki's duality. So let's start with Shigaraki's childhood. Born as Tenko Shimura, Shigaraki's childhood was filled with pain, abuse, and tragedy. Much like Deku, he wanted to be a hero, but then he grows up in a household where court was strictly forbidden and he was subjected to his father's abuse and resentment. Now, his father's resentment actually stems from his mother, like the grandma, Nana Shimura, who is actually the holder of One for All and All Might's previous mentor, who basically abandons her family to become a hero. And in his word, in the father's word, he states in order to save a bunch of strangers, they hurt their own family. So this already poses a question for us, like, is it worth being a hero at the expense of your own family? And isn't then the root cause, the root of all this mess with Shigaraki being this powerful villain is really because the mistake of one hero's neglect over her own family? So we see in the series, when Tenko's quirk manifested the decay, he accidentally killed his family. Like first he accidentally killed his dog, his sister, his mom, and then in the midst of those chaos, he touched his dad with a purposeful intent of actually hurting him or killing him. And we as an audience could easily say this like, aha, Shigaraki Tenko was born a villain. Look at him, he's just a kid but he already wanted to kill his dad. He must be born a villain. But we need to look at the context of when this was happening. It was a very chaotic moment. Tenko was being punished and he was being abused. He didn't know what happened. It was a quirk suddenly manifesting, killing his beloved dog, his sister, and his mom who tried to save him. And in the midst of all chaos, it triggered the fight or flight response. And so when Tenko sees his dad, he doesn't see him just a dad. He sees him as someone who abused him throughout his life. And in that moment, the fight or flight response accumulates in him wanting to hurt his abuser. Was it the right thing to do? Well, no. But was it understandable? Well, kind of, yes. So this ordeal left him traumatized, guilty, and abandoned. And we see little Tenko wandering in the streets, obviously in need of help. He was captured, abused, he just needs help. But guess what? There was nobody who wanted to help him. So we see him not only as a victim of abuse from his own father, also a victim of neglect unintentionally from his grandma, who's a hero, and now we see him clearly as a victim of neglect from society. Now let's examine All for One's manipulation. And so here we have him alone and vulnerable in the street. Tenko was pawned by All for One, manipulating the young Tenko who doesn't have anybody. All for One became his mentor, renaming him Shigaraki Tomura and grooming him to become his successor. But it's important to note and to remember that Tenko didn't go with All for One because he wanted to be a villain. Like, wahaha, I want to be a villain, I want to learn from this guy. No, he goes with All for One because All for One was the only one who showed him care. The only one who seems to help him. So under All for One's tutelage, Shigaraki's hatred for society and heroes grew, leading him to establish the League of Villains. Now, one of the main villain or one of the most powerful villain in the My Hero Academia series, and becomes one of the most dangerous threats in the world. Shigaraki's traumatic childhood and the influence of All for One greatly impacted his character development. His tragic past shaped him to be this vengeful and this ruthless person who wanted to destroy everything with deep-seated hatred for heroes and society. So while we see that, yes, it's his destructive quirk that makes him to be a powerful villain and a role in shaping his life as a villain. I mean, he wouldn't be a villain if his quirk is like random turning apples into oranges or something, you know? But it was the manipulation of All for One and the lack of proper guidance, of good moral guidance, that led him down the path of evil. So in this case, Shigaraki's actions and motivations can be seen as a consequence of his tragic upbringing rather than inherent evil. Now, let's examine the duality of Shigaraki. Shigaraki's character is the perfect example of the duality between victim and villain. On one hand, as we have established, he is a tragic figure, suffering from this lifetime trauma and manipulation. But on the other hand, we cannot deny that yes, he is a ruthless, dangerous antagonist with deep-seated desire to destroy the hero society and the world and shape it into what he thinks is his image. And for example, on one hand, we see Shigaraki's ruthlessness, like his villainous side when he brutally kills overall. And that he also has this bloodthirstiness to release the nobles into the society and want to destroy everything. However, on the other hand, we get a glimpse of his vulnerability as he keeps on recalling the childhood trauma and his family. And this longing never really went away. So, for example, in the Metal Liberation Army, Shigaraki faces off with Vidistro, the leader of the Metal Liberation Army. And during this battle, we see a glimpse, like a flashback towards his past about Nana Shimura's, particularly his grandmother, the One for All holder and All Might's mentor. And this revelation, this flashback, stirs something within Shigaraki, like who hesitates for a moment as he grapples with his family's past. And we see this how Shigaraki's hesitation in this scene highlights the fact that he has these internal struggles and suggests that there might be parts of him that is not entirely consumed by hatred for evil. Like, yes, he is convinced that he exists only to destroy everything, but how much of it is him and how much of it is All for One's influence? Because if he was born evil, he wouldn't go back to his past as Tenko so much, and has all these internal struggles about who he is. Is he Tenko, the boy who wanted to be a hero, or is he Shigaraki, the man who wants to destroy everything? And I see this moment, this duality, as a hint that Shigaraki is a very complex character, the ultimate duality between victim and villain. And There are moments throughout the series where his humanity does shine through. Like when he expresses concerns for his fellow League of villain members when they were battling the Liberation Army and they got injured, he expresses concerns towards them.
仲間の望みは別腹さ。好きに生きてろ。
All for One never really taught him about concerns or care. But the fact that he has this sense of care towards his friends and followers, perhaps hinting at the possibility that he's not truly, inherently, completely evil. Now, lastly, I think it's time to ask, is there a chance at redemption? As for the possibility of redemption, it's essential to consider Shigaraki's journey throughout the series. He is the character that is continuously evolving and developing. In the Paranormal Liberation arc, we see Shigaraki obtaining All for One's power and becoming even more powerful. He's very strong now. However, this power comes with a price, as he struggles to maintain control over his own body and thoughts due to All for One's influence. And Shigaraki's ongoing struggle against All for One may provide an opportunity for him, perhaps, to break free from All for One's influence that has consumed him for all this time. His character arc could potentially lead to perhaps a redemption arc or redemption attempt, where he ultimately recognizes the harm he has caused. But I don't know, guys, perhaps by now he has reached point of no return. Has he? In conclusion, I think the character Shigaraki Tomura is a fascinating study on the duality between victim and villain. His tragic rise to power, fueled by his painful past and All for One's manipulation, paints a complex picture of a character caught between good and evil. And this is a recurring theme in My Hero Academia. The other League of Villain members like Dabi, Toga, Twice are in between this delicate balance of what is good and evil. And I want to talk about them in future videos. And so Shigaraki's story serves as the reminder for us, the audience, that the lines between good and evil are often very blurred, and that even the most dangerous or the most antagonistic villains may have a tragic backstory that shapes their motivations and actions. So, what are your thoughts about Shigaraki's character and his tragic rise to villainy? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more in-depth analysis of your favorite anime characters. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!